Hey guys, so I just wanted to come on here and compare the OnePlus 5 with the LG G6, which seems to be a favorite here. A lot of fans for the LG G6. So I was a bit meh when I first got it, but it has grown on me a little bit when it comes to what it brings to the table. And it's about the same price as the OnePlus 5, so I'm guessing a lot of people will be, thinking, is it worth it to get the G6 over the OnePlus 5? So we can just start them up here, have a look at the performance, and then talk about the pros and cons of what you do get. So straight away, in terms of the form factor, I think LG has the advantage. It looks a lot more futuristic because of the bezel ratio, whereas the OnePlus 5 looks a little bit out of date in comparison. You do get AMOLED display though with the OnePlus, but it's only at full HD versus the 2K display on the G6, which has HDR technology as well for your Netflix, etc., which is quite a nice addition. So if you just look here a little bit closer, you can really see how good the bezel ratio is on the G6. If you just open up an app, you can see it goes all the way to the top here, but you don't get that on the OnePlus. Unfortunately, in terms of the configuration, this is a UK model, so I'm only getting 32 gigs internal storage. You do get 64 gigs on the OnePlus, as well as 6 gigs of RAM in this model. So some markets do get to a high-res DAC with the G6, which is quite nice to have. And I think also you do get wireless charging with the G6, waterproofing, and something else as well, which does escape my mind. I think military standard drop protection, so they really do test it for durability. There's also something else, the always on display. These are all great value adds that you do get with the G6, which a lot of people will be like, why would you even bother with the OnePlus? And there's the wide angle lens as well, which is a pretty awesome feature here. You can basically do wide shots that you can't do on other phones. But enough ranting, let's have a look here at the comparison review of the speed here. So we're just going to open up a few apps and see how they do compare. Obviously OnePlus had its own advantages, so we can talk about that in a bit. But we just want to see who is faster here. So the only real thing about the G6 is that it does come with a slightly out-of-date kind of processor in comparison to what you can get on the market. But I think they have released a G6 Plus or something, which gives you, I think, more storage, but still the same processor, unfortunately. And you can see here the OnePlus seems to be faster on most of them, except for this one, which is a nice surprise. Did we do this one? I think we did. Let's try something else here. I think I've already done fancy. And what else do we have? This one. Probably already done a lot of these. This one. So yeah, you can see, I think the G6 tends to keep up, even though it's running its own skin here, which is quite nice. Let's have a look at the clock. So it's a bit different here on both of them. You can really see LG puts a lot of effort into its UI, making it very pretty here. And where is the settings? Yeah, so you can see, the G6 kind of keeps up here generally in terms of the basic stuff. What about the games? You can see for an LCD panel, the actual black levels are very good as well, maybe because of that HDR kind of technology, but the screen doesn't get as bright as I'd like it to be compared to some other handsets. So you can see with the games here, I think the OnePlus is pulling ahead now. Rugby. The reason why I also got black LG G6 here is because when you're doing your gaming or watching videos, there's an ugly black border sometimes on apps which aren't optimized. So if you get the black one, you won't see that. It's a pro tip. And what else do we have? We have dead trigger. So you can see, even though the G6 is running slightly out of date processor, it's doing quite well overall. But if you're looking for your raw speed, maybe the OnePlus is the better choice here, as well as future-proofing when it comes to the RAM. Let's have a look at the Wi-Fi. Start with the G6. So you can see very middling score here, G6. Certainly, I think the V20 could do better. And the OnePlus. So we're going to give the G6 another chance here to redeem itself, because I have seen it do better. Go. But you can see it's just not having it tonight. Kind of average when it comes to the Wi-Fi, which is, I guess, probably due to the slightly lesser spec. But then again, other devices can do quite well when it comes to the Wi-Fi. Nevertheless, we can have a look at the real-world web browsing. So just turn the brightness up here on both of them. Very different display calibrations here, you can see on both of them. So let's just load a big page here. Yeah, so you can see, I think the OnePlus finished that a little bit faster, loading the pictures, etc., which is nice. And again, let's try something else here. GameSpot. Go. So very similar this time, not a huge difference with the mobile optimized website. You can see, I think LG once had its own browser, so it should have kept that, I think. So quite good here, but I think OnePlus has the advantage again because of the newer processor. Just going to do some multitasking here, don't expect any problems with both of them. And you can see straight away very good memory management on the G6. Basically the same here. And you can really notice how much more content you can get on the G6 because of the bezel ratio. It's pretty awesome looking at it against an older phone. So let's go to the games. So no difference whatsoever here between these two. Really good performance here. I think they could do with bumping up the RAM to 6 gigs of RAM for the V30 just for future proofing, but still very impressive stuff from LG G6. And if you ask me, if you can get the G6 for the same price as the OnePlus, I'd definitely consider it. Particularly because it gives you a lot of stuff that's not related to, the performance, like the dual camera, waterproofing, always on display, and the form factor, which feels a lot more compact. But obviously, the OnePlus does come with its own advantages, like more storage, an AMOLED display, which is nice, and the dash charging as well, and 8 gig RAM model variant, and obviously the portrait mode ability. So I guess it's quite a tough matchup between these two, and I guess it's just what you're looking for at the end of the day. Both excellent phones. So yeah, just a quick little video here. Hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.